I've been in the bullion industry for over half a decade as both a customer and a seller. And in this video, I'm going to explain to you my exact investment strategy in precious metals and bullion. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Steph. I'm from alethaios.com. We help people, businesses, and super funds invest over $50,000 into precious metals safely, securely, and legally. I make these videos for everybody else completely for free so that you're more likely to invest in precious metals because I believe every human on the planet should have some of their wealth inside of precious metals like gold and silver. So, what are the factors that I consider when it comes to investment in bullion? Precious metals, silver bars, coins, gold. The first major one would be whether to invest in gold or whether to invest in silver. This will be a majority decision based on risk preference. So it depends on how much risk you're wanting to take on. I'm a bit younger, so I prefer to take on more risk. So I will invest into more silver rather than gold. The reason being is because silver is more risky. And what I mean by risky, because we need some sort of factor to identify what risk is, it is the standard deviation of return. In plain jargon, how far up and down the price of silver goes. Now, if you look at a chart in comparison, and I will pull these up. If you look at a chart in comparison between silver and gold, silver's price fluctuates far more as opposed to gold, especially in the short term. Silver is more risky. Good thing about this is that typically throughout commodity bull cycles and gold and silver bull runs, silver always or tends to always outperform gold. The great thing about silver as well is it's not a pet rock like gold. It is actually useful. It is one of the most useful metals on the planet. One of the factors that you'll need to consider between investing in gold and silver is your own personal risk preference. The second factor that I will need to consider is whether I invest in bars or in coins, or better yet, what percentage do I invest in bars or coins? Typically, and there's a key distinction between these two types of products. Coins tend to have a higher premium. They cost more. The reason being is because they cost more to make, so bullion dealers will pass that cost on to customers and buyers. Coins also, some coins also have limited mintages, they're super rare, they've got really unique designs, hence why they cost more to make. Coins are not something that you'd want to invest in with hundreds of thousands of dollars purely because it does not fit the goals of investors. I am more of a investor in the metals, so I buy gold and silver, majority silver. I buy gold and silver because I believe these metals are undervalued, not because they've got a nice design and I could then pass on or sell that nice design to a future collector. The best two types of products when it comes to gold and silver is gold ounces, whether that's cast, literally poured, or minted, which is pressed. So that's the two best products for gold. Stick with ounces. Ounces are your best bet. In terms of silver, the best products are kilogram bars of silver, kilo cast bars. Don't buy anything else. If you're looking for pure investment in the metal, kilogram cast bars of silver are your best bet, hands down. The reason being is that those two products typically are associated with the smallest premium. So you've got the spot price and then the premium you pay. This is inclusive of a refinery fee as well as the bullion dealing fee, or there's a wholesaling fee in the middle as well. Now, we want to buy as investors as close to spot as humanly possible. How do we do that? We buy gold ounces, whether they're cast or minted, and cast kilogram bars of silver. 100% of all the clients that we deal with invest in those products. They are your sure and best bet to get as close to the spot price as humanly possible. Another factor to consider is when you sell the bullion later, we don't recommend buying any larger than ounces of gold and kilograms of silver, because when you go to sell those larger bars, you will not get the full spot price. The reason being is because bullion dealers are businesses as well, and they need to account for shelf life, and they may need to melt the bars down and all that kind of stuff. So they typically pay a percentage of spot when you sell larger bars. So the sweet spot for investors out there are ounces of gold and kilograms of silver, because you get the smallest premium and you get the full spot price when you go to sell those bars. bread and butter for investors. Those are the two greatest products. Coins are great. I actually enjoy collecting coins, selling those to other collectors as well. I would not recommend it to anybody that's not in the industry or who is heavily interested in the industry, because it'll take up too much of your time. If you can't sell the stuff when you need to sell the stuff, it's not that great. The last major factor that you'll need to consider is whether to buy smaller or larger bars. Now, this is where you get into like doomsday prepping and stuff like that. We call them preppers. They're expecting societal collapse. And what they do is they purchase smaller denomination gold bars or coins and silver bars or coins. The reason being is because you can't really barter and trade with a whole ounce of gold or a whole kilogram of silver. Giving a person for a bag of groceries in a post-apocalyptic world a whole kilo of silver is not practical, because that silver would be worth way more than whatever you could trade for it. The drawback of those products is that as the smaller you go, the higher premium those products are, because again, it costs more money to make those individual products. You can go all the way to 1/10 ounce gold coins and 1/10 ounce silver coins, which retail for about $8, right? You are paying way over spot on those things. So if you had hundreds of thousands of dollars and you were going to invest in precious metals, gold and silver, whether through me or through somebody else, I would not recommend, if you're just trying to invest in the metals, to purchase smaller bars, because you will pay so much premium. It's not even funny. I have had super funds that have wanted to invest into small coins because they like the design or because they wanted a smaller portion of coins. That's not what we're doing here. We're here to invest in the metal. So oftentimes when I get new clients in, they typically want a broad range of products, but I tell them, what's the point in that if you already have two products which are the best hands down for your investing goals? There's no point diversifying when you're going for pure investment. In terms of me and my personal accounts and stack, roughly 5% in smaller bars or coins, purely because I actually want those products just in case, just in case. Not saying that there's going to be a meteor and a zombie apocalypse or anything like that, but just in case, it's always good to have those products handy, provided you buy them in a personal account, not through a business, and not, especially not through a super fund, because auditing for you will be a nightmare. Absolute nightmare. Don't do it. Just flat out, I won't put the order in, because I've heard plenty of horror stories when I meet new clients about them buying too large of bars and too small of bars and realizing that that was a mistake retrospectively. So that's generally the gist. Now that I've given you all of that information, you can better identify what type of products better suit your goals, because that's absolutely important. And I hope it's opened your eyes so that other people selling bullion will not take advantage of you. Have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you later on the next one. See you later, guys. Peace.